Hey guys, LevelCap here. Today we've got an episode of Sniper Sunday, the series where we're going to be playing the Recon class, checking out DMRs and bolt-action sniper rifles, and going over tactics that are going to work well with this class. In reality, the Recon is one of the most versatile classes, and it has some of the best gadgets to benefit the team overall. Medpack benefits an individual or a few players around him, but a motion sensor can tell your entire team where the enemy are located. And for today's video, I will be using the motion sensors and C4. We're going to be doing aggressive recon again, and I'm going to be using the QBU-88. This is a DMR I really haven't used much, and it's got some very interesting stats. It seems to be a hybrid between using close quarter. It has very good hipfire capabilities, but it also has some of the fastest bullet velocity available. So that's going to make it very good at hitting moving targets and hitting targets at range. So you've got this weird hybrid of a gun that shoots very fast and has good hipfire for killing people in close quarters, but then it also has some of the fastest bullet velocity so you can hit those long range targets. I really wanted to try it out, see how it was, because I'm all about versatile weapons. One of the biggest drawbacks to this gun, and probably why not a lot of people are using it right now, is because it has a 10-round magazine, where other DMRs of similar damage value and almost the same rate of fire have 20-round magazines. This is a huge hit in the overall performance of this weapon. Now, because this weapon does 43 damage maximum, you can only kill 3 people provided you're hitting body shots per magazine. So that's really not a very impressive statistic, especially considering that most of your shots are missed. So overall, you're probably going to be doing on average 1 kill per magazine, and then you have to reload. Compare that to your average assault rifle that has 25 damage per shot and 30 rounds in a magazine. You can kill up to 7 people per mag, providing you're actually landing your shots. So there really isn't a lot of room for error with this weapon. In fact, to try and prevent error, you're going to want to keep your distance to a maximum. And look at this, I actually got a front knife kill. The only reason I would ever go for one of those is if somebody gets the drop on me. That guy clearly did. I was down to 4 health, and for some reason he just wasn't able to get that counter knife off. Every now and then you do get lucky in this game. Now back to the QBU-88, let's take a look at the stats from Synthic here. You'll notice it has a damage model of 43 to 34. This is slightly lower than most of the other DMRs aside from the SKS. In fact, the QBU-88 and the SKS both fall into a slightly lower damage model, and that's because they have some of the highest rate of fires out of any of the DMRs. Now, all DMRs fall into that 3-shot kill range regardless of what distance you are from your enemy. One of the benefits of the other DMRs that don't have this slightly lower damage model, they only drop off to 38 minimum damage, is that they can still 3-shot kill somebody even if they hit them in the leg. If you start getting leg shots with the QBU-88 or the SKS, all of a sudden you're going to be in the 4-shot kill range. And having to shoot somebody 4 times with a semi-auto weapon and one that only has 10 rounds in a magazine is a really bad place to be. So you want to be precise with this weapon, and one thing that can really help your accuracy with this weapon is using a higher magnification sight. Now in this specific clip I have the Coyote sight, but I'm going to switch back over to my 3.4 times sight, which I'm also running with a laser pointer so I can hip fire people in close quarters if needed. Now the benefit of this is that you do have a 600 meter per second bullet velocity, so 3.4 times sight is going to be really helpful for trying to headshot people at longer ranges and making sure you're landing those body shots. Now, although the QBU-88 has some of the best hipfire available out of any of the DMRs, it's still not a really viable tactic. Even with the laser sight here, I was certainly having some trouble dropping people with hipfire, and I wouldn't recommend going for it unless you don't really have another choice or you're in point blank range. If whenever possible, aim down sight, you have a much higher chance of dropping your foe. Ultimately, I think one of the main reasons why people don't bother with the QBU-88, because it does have some very good weapon stats, it really comes down to the magazine size and the reload time. 10-round magazine with a 2.6 second reload is a really bad situation to be in. The pacing of Battlefield is so fast that this really isn't going to allow you to survive in most close quarter situations, and if you have a gun that really is designed for taking out one opponent and then reloading, you're in a very bad situation if you have to reload all the time with a crappy reload time. Compare this to the SKS, which is the other DMR with the same damage model. And not only does the SKS shoot faster, it has a 20-round magazine and a shorter reload time of 2.3 seconds. So Just overall, the SKS seems to be a much more survivable weapon in close quarter situations. Now, if we were to only look at the QBU-88's bullet velocity and rate of fire, it would certainly be one of the best DMRs in the game. It's just unfortunate that it has this horrible magazine and reload time, really cutting it down. If DICE were to upgrade the magazine capacity to, say, 15 rounds instead of 10 rounds, much like the SVD-12, I think we would see more people using this. I don't think by any means it would be overpowered or one of the more popular DMRs, but it would start appealing more to players who like to have something that's a bit more suited for close quarters and can also deal with people at long range. Now, to stay alive and do well with the QBU-88 in Battlefield 4, I certainly wasn't pushing the front lines a lot. I was using my motion sensors as much as possible, assisting people, getting a lot of kill assists, because honestly that's what DMRs do best, is damage somebody a lot and then somebody with a full auto weapon wings them and takes them down. But I was staying in buildings, trying to keep my cover, using motion sensors again as much as possible, making sure people weren't sneaking up on me. If I was playing extremely passive, I might even swap out the C4 for something like a Tugs, put it in the building that I was hiding in, and then use motion sensors to try and push up to new locations. And honestly, if you are playing the Recon class with a DMR or sniper rifle, you're never going to want to be in the front lines. Your gun is never going to be that powerful or that reliable. As soon as you run into a good player who knows what they're doing, they're going to be able to take you out no problem. So supporting your team, throwing motion sensors, potentially using C4 in a defensive way to take out opponents can be very helpful, or opening up new avenues for your team to push through. Often I'll use my C4 to blow open the side of a building or blow open a wall and create a flanking route that nobody was really expecting to be there. I'm always surprised by how little people use this tactic, because it's really a very easy way to get kills. This map, especially Goal Mud on Team Deathmatch or Domination, has tons of awesome flanking routes or ways to get inside of buildings using C4. Now, in this specific clip, I know that there's enemies around me. I throw a motion sensor down the stairwell. Sure enough, there's lots of guys here. So I'm going to use C4 in more of a defensive situation. Throw it down the stairway. I see the dead friendly down there, and I get an easy kill. There's certainly more enemies around me, but again, motion sensors can help me locate them and make sure that nobody is getting the drop on me. Now, here's a situation where I do find myself on the front lines, and rather than running out into the middle of nowhere, I'm going to try and work this corner here and use my motion sensors to really anticipate enemies that are sneaking up on me. It seems to work out pretty well. I can anticipate most of these guys sneaking around this one corner right here. I'm always checking my left angle to make sure nobody's sneaking up on me from that angle, and just trying to get a few kills while my team makes it up to the front lines and can really sort of be the cannon fodder for all this crazy front line pushing. So that wraps it up for this episode of Sniper Sunday. I really can't recommend the QBU-88. If you want something that's fast and decent for close quarters, run with the SKS instead. Run with motion sensors as much as possible. It really is the Recon class's best benefit to know where all your enemies are. That's going to give you the advantage, especially when going up against assault classes that are always topped off on health because of their med packs. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap signing off.